We've been thinking a lot lately about our food forest and how we're going to develop that. It's come up kind of briefly in conversation on some of our videos this past couple months, but it's not something we've focused on. It's going to be a big project, and we've had some ups and downs with starting it, so it's kind of gone on the back burner. But I do want to show people right now just what we are talking about working with, because right now there's no leaves on the trees, and you can really see the scale that we're talking about and the steep slopes and just how much thought's going to have to go into developing this. This is our start to our food forest area. Right down, let me get my finger into it here. Right there is the gate. And this area in here is where we've planted all our cherry trees. I think there's 16 cherries, little dwarf cherries there. Right there is our drive down from the farmyard. I think that back bank there is probably just going to be natural. There's some shagbark hickory trees, and we've got some American chestnut trees that we're going to plant over there and things like that, because that's an area we're not going to be going to all that often. That side of the pond is where we're thinking about putting all the pawpaw trees. I believe Chris had success with 11 this year, and he's ordered some more seeds, so we're going to kind of keep going with that because we'd like to get a nice little pawpaw plantation, so to speak. Right down here, right this little strip here, is all Saskatoon berry bushes. You can see one right there. Saskatoons spread like crazy once they're established, so we're just sort of hoping that they're going to just kind of carry over down that cliff there. It's a very, very steep cliff. The kids have fun mountain climbing right there. And believe me, it's a tough climb. There's the drive path coming through, and then it goes along that way and comes out on our channel for the animals. But there's quite the ridge up top there. Maybe we'll take a walk down in there actually. But I just thought I would pause here because the view from up here just gives you an idea. We are working with probably about 3.5 to 4 acres here. So as we've kind of explained previously, this is an old sand pit. It's kind of a daunting task, but at the same time very, very exciting. Basically, we're kind of hoping it's going to be carefree. We're just going to plant it and leave it, and it's survival of the fittest, and we see how it goes. So here we're coming down into the pit. We still call it the pit, but to be food forest. Again, as I was saying, this little ledge here and going down next to the water is where we're thinking about putting all the pawpaws. We kind of started with a little bit of clearing out, and we're going to keep going with that, but we're kind of picking and choosing. Some stuff we're not even going to worry about. Up on that ridge there, that's the cherries, just from a different angle. And what we've been doing here, this would just be an area that they dug the sand out of previously. We've been using this for our manure pile. The hopes is kind of to fill in a nice level bit here, kind of going back towards that horrible junk that the previous people left. But they had a whole pile of brush and clippings, probably off of Manitoba maples around here that they'd cut down for firewood. You can see another pile there. And basically we're just piling manure on top of that, letting it all break down. Then we'll probably put a little bit of topsoil sand mixture. We'll just see how it goes. This is a long-term project. I mean, we're talking a couple years of piling in here and letting it break down. But I think it will be a really, really nice spot. We'll thin out some of these maples and things to give it a bit more light. We got we've been watching another great channel, Cliffside Permaculture, and she works on an amazing cliff. And we've been inspired by this to believe that we can use more of this space than we had thought. I mean, if you look over here, that's that cliff that we're talking about rock climbing with the kids. They love that. That's something, again, we'll try and see if we can sort of terrace a little bit to make use of as time goes. So we'd already planted the cherries, the Saskatoons, and we've been making some patches with manure over the year so that we have some spots to potentially grow some squash and things next year. We have also, let's see if I can find them, yes, planted some fiddleheads along here. This is going to be a great little area for the fiddleheads just to grow in and take control. You can see some right here. They've died back for the winter. And then there's a bunch more along this ridge here. You can see where the water fills up to in the spring. So we've kind of just established right along the edge. This little pond does dry up each year. It kind of was just left as it is, so we're going to work with it. You can see the rough cliff on that side, which, like I say, that's because of the pond and everything. We're just going to leave that to be natural vegetation that doesn't necessarily need to be food. And in these little spots here, we've piled some rocks and put in some soil and manure and whatnot. And we've planted mint. There was chocolate mint and peppermint. There's a path that goes behind there that goes all the way around along the top of the ridge, all the way out the other side. It's a great little one for trail riding on with the horses for a fun little thing. And we've got 2 toka plums planted up there, and they've got mint and stuff all around the bottom of them. And then on the back ridge, right up high there, we've got a bunch more Saskatoons planted. We'll probably actually put a few apples in here eventually, because it'd be nice to have some really good ones closer to home. But you can see up here, that's the kids' favorite sledding hill when there's actually snow. But not this year. We'll try and tackle going up here. We've got garlic chives planted kind of all around this rock. And we also, I forgot to show it, down at the bottom of that is my rhubarb. We started kind of working on building up an area here with rocks, and then we want to fill that. It's a work in progress. Anyway, I just thought I would give a tour of this because we really haven't shown this part of our property yet. This here is the trail I'm talking about that goes all along the top. So we've got lots of steep banks, which it'd be nice to make use of. The birds love it in here. It's another reason we're planting lots of fruit trees for the birds. I'm just going to take you up right to the top of this one side here. Kind of looks like the coyote's been in here. But here you can see we have another nice big ledge area that eventually we will thin out some of the less desirable trees and get some useful things growing in there. That's a view back towards the pond. This is probably the highest point on our property. Well, no, right there would be the highest point on our property. But just a quick little tour of what will be our food forest. So now that you guys have gotten kind of the full tour of the food forest, we'd love to have your comments and ideas on just how you might deal with this space, things that you would kind of plant. Again, we're in zone 5B and very, very, very sandy. So we're kind of going through the battle of how to work with our soil in this space and yet still make it as unlabor intensive as possible. So anyways, this is a tour of the food forest. Not a food forest yet, but will be a food forest. Hope you enjoyed, and we look forward to your comments, and don't forget to subscribe.